So, get this. What do you think happens when you give the greatest video game developer of all time more than 3.5 months to make a racing game featuring one of the most recognizable video game IPs of all time?
What the fuck?
Pure, unadulterated art. You know, it's actually hysterical. This silly little card-em-up video game is where Sakurai finally decided to fully lock in and perfect his story mode formula. After Smash 4's whatever the fuck this was, and World of Light's, let's just say split execution, everyone seemed content with thinking, well, I suppose the natural philosophy for Sakurai's game progression is more multiplayer-centric anyway these days. Perhaps his bizarre, borderline, flat-out aversion to single-player experiences is simply the cost of his brilliant game design. Subspace Emissary and Kid Icarus fans, maybe it's just time for us to all go pack it up. And then you boot up Kirby Air Riders and decide to launch Roadtrip mode. A wide open road before us, presented gorgeously. You play through a few levels and slowly we realize we're getting varied objectives, rather than just hours of back-to-back variations of the same gameplay format. You're using your augmentations to race, destroy, eat, and even engage in straight-up brawls with your opposition. We do battle with both foes new and old. More on that shortly. And between it all, we get a steady flow of high-production cutscenes, accompanied with narrative voiceover that honestly has been a really good hook. It serves as a perfectly effective way to keep you on your journey as you mount countless other racing vehicles. These machines that you take across Popstar serve as your companions, and I just gotta say, Popstar and Dreamland as a whole has never looked better. It's all so gorgeous, but we can't rest too easy. You see, breaking up our adventure is our new rival character, Noir DDD, which, let's be honest, I'm gonna have to deduct points because this guy, like, what? Why wouldn't you just call him Noir DD? Shit. Whatever. Anyway, our progression is non-linear. Well, technically it's linear, but only in terms of motion. That is to say that the routes you take are at your discretion depending on what items you choose along your journey. And trust me, this makes your New Game Plus playthroughs stay equally as engaging because you're not sure what you're going to see next. Each clear path is a new road. And yes, I did just say that this card-em-up has a New Game Plus. Whether you decide to cut, bomb, or UFO your way through, you will find a way forward even if the way is pretty bizarre. It's always pretty entertaining. These hilarious boons will carry you forward on your journey, and before you realize it, you'll have already reached the endgame. Alright, by a show of hands, how many of you guys were raised on the Wii era? Doesn't this surrounding set piece give you the vibes of going through Subspace Emissary for the first time? You know exactly what I mean, the whole wasteland being kissed by the dawn of light, filled with canyons, and it's all just so gorgeous and pretty, if not a bit foreboding. Whenever you arrive here, you just know whatever is gonna happen is gonna be pretty intense. In glorious Kirby series fashion, your small stature only serves to heighten the intensity of when you approach this absolute behemoth of a machine. Needless to say, it's time to fucking go. So, I gotta be completely honest, Gigantis' design completely threw me off at my first encounter with him. I'll admit, I failed the gamer IQ check. You see, his design is so menacing and it's like too cohesive. I didn't understand on my first time fighting him that I was supposed to smash into his red blaring lights. The map basically had to walk off the screen and say, "Look, dumbass," before I realized that I wasn't paying attention. He said if he saw that shit happen again, he was gonna tell Nintendo to brick my Switch too. So, as quickly as I could, I took some illegal lefts into Gigantis until he stopped moving. But, holy shit, no time to breathe because we're racing Noir DD up a mountain and losing the race because we didn't have the appropriate machine before being thrust into the encounter and... Did Kirby just fucking die? You change your gear and beat ND3 to the top. The day is saved, but why the hell is Nova just giving me that stinkiest of stank eye? And did he just fuck off? This is where any Kirby fan worth their chops knows that something's up. When you see Nova, you're supposed to da 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 And if that doesn't happen, you just know that something's wrong. It's just really weird. It's just kind of a bummer, you know? He's supposed to be blown to Kingdom Come. Something is wrong. Damn, this credits theme is phenomenal. But it's kind of a bummer, right? That's weird. Really weird. Oh, collect all the machines. No problem. Actually, really cool. I wanted to check out some of the other roads while I was at it anyway. And before we know it, yup, we're right back. The final confrontation. Except, there goes all of our modes of transport. Shit. At this point, I'm guessing you little Switch 2 babies that don't know what a Kirby Air Ride even is or ever was, are probably pooping in your diaper.
Oh no. Kirby, how is he gonna be able to beat the big burly?
But us real ones already know what's gonna happen. We've been here since the GameCube era, and we've been here just sitting, waiting. We already know the legendary whip is gonna come out, the Goat Goon and the Midra, and holy shit. Oh my god, there's so much going on. This is so sick. This song is fucking incredible. Oh my god, wait, isn't this the... Hyper Gigantis is meaner and golder, but it's all good. ND3 is supporting us while we try to kick this thing's ass, and ND, holy shit. What the... We mount this absolutely sick looking lion, and the adventure from this point onward is completely unknown. Yeah, so the sequence that follows this is nothing short of legendary. I'm talking up there with Metroid, Uprising, and Odyssey. So by this point, before I go any further, we gotta talk about the lion in the room. When I mounted it, I personally lost my shit. I mean, the fact that this secret legendary machine was a literal beast. It was pretty hard for me not to lose my shit. I thought it was odd, but knowing Sakurai and how meticulous he is, I knew there had to be something more to this. But in the moment, I was so lost in the sauce of what followed, I simply got swept up in the hype. But some people don't know any better. Not everyone is going to be as familiar with Sakurai, so you can't really blame them for thinking it's just something random in Nintendo. So I have something really fun to show you guys. I'm going to show you guys a text I received from one of my personal friends while they got to this point in the ending. So, I'm missing one vehicle, but I'm still going through the secret ending. It must be tied to New Game Plus. Don't spoil yet. Had to pause to make some quick cash. And I'm up to marks. Why this dumb nigga turned into a tiger, I don't understand. Okay, let's jump right into this. This lion Leo is actually Sakurai's persona. Yes, like, it's literally Sakurai. You see, this comes out of nowhere, but after you receive him and reach Journey's End, I don't believe it's any coincidence after receiving him you go through a gauntlet of bosses from classic Kirby games that Sakurai had shared active roles in. This lion seems like a random schlockfest until you realize the Leo just so happens to be Sakurai's horoscope, and lions are widely known to be symbols of pride. And for Sakurai, his revisit to this game series, Kirby Air Ride, that comparatively was nowhere near as well received as his other works, was purely an act of passion. But more importantly, pride in his vision. This game is packed to the brim with every single original element from the first game. Kirby Air Riders chose to remain unapologetically chaotic and unconventional. Make zero mistake, Sakurai loves Smash Brothers. But let's be honest guys, it's more than obvious that Smash Brothers is more than taxing, it's beyond what we could imagine. The series is constantly taking massive development cycles. And though Smash Brothers is definitely something that, like I said, Sakurai loves and he's still passionate about, his passion at times I could imagine feeling a lot like a prison. And naturally, with so much time devoted to these singular projects, it would only be natural to long for freedom. Doesn't that remind you of a certain character we just met? I'll emphasize again how crazy it is that this little card-em-up video game has served as the project where Sakurai is most free. No red tape on how to present other Nintendo IPs or third-party characters, likely a far less rigid deadline, and Sakurai just taking Kirby out for one last big ride to go out in a bang. Not some experience that's built in a 3.5 month cycle to appease a deadline, but a boundless freedom to express one's art. Needless to say, Journey's End is right up there with Hypernova All-Stars and Robobot Rush. This sequence is presented alongside a composition that I think is my favorite in the game and one of my favorite in the Kirby series now. But that element I refuse to play in this video because I personally do want you to see this sequence in its full glory. Yeah, I know it's a bit weird for me to care about spoilers at this point in the video, and this video is basically just a literal spoiler, and I don't think Sakurai would approve of it at all. Absolutely not. But music goes a far way in games, and that's one element I just really want you guys to get out there for yourselves. So I hope you'll forgive me for not playing it here. Boy, if I'm not glad I'm not free to post about games I really like on the internet. You could tell this game's message really stuck with me. And speaking of messages, we have a final one to give to Noah for dicking around with us and our friends once again. We burst in and... Is this a recontextual? Oh. Damn, when Sakurai wants to show scale, he just... you know. So, what now? We bust up the nodes, do a few laps of bullet hell into the heart, and... This shit was just like gasping for air after being held underwater. All of this was for us, wasn't it? A beautiful world to navigate, new friends, new battles on a scale never seen in a Kirby game up to this date, and an absolutely wild last ride with Daddy Sakurai while he plays us out on an electric guitar solo, leading us to the end. For real this time. And hey, this thing comes with new credits, and this time we ride off to a triumphant piece. You know, it's almost ridiculous how whenever seeds of apathy are placed by Nintendo in me, Sakurai is there to pick up the pieces just in time. Pokemon may be unsavable, but this game made me go from happy to own a Switch 2 to absolutely over the moon that I had when to be able to experience this masterpiece out the gate. And finales like this you could experience for the first time only once. Kirby Air Riders bleed Sakurai's unadulterated vision, and I feel that this was his bargaining chip for all of those years on Smash Brothers. He gave us all of his chaos, all of his lunacy, but it's also pure art. Thanks for watching The Revenge of the King, and if you like this video, I want you to tell me what you think of Kirby Air Riders down in the comments below. Also, drop your Leo theories, because I'm here all day for them, because honestly, I have no idea exactly what the fuck he is. I'm just kind of talking out my ass. But hey, if you liked me talking out my ass, why not consider subbing, liking, sharing? You know, you're already here. I think we got kind of close, don't you think? And also, let me know if you want to see more Kirby and Nintendo on this channel too, because when it comes to topics like that, we can chat a lifetime.